Nice. Hi. How are you? I hope you're doing well. This is it. I'm gonna put this down before I break it. This is the big reveal. Which is something I really shouldn't say because it's not that big. In fact, it's not over 1,000 words. So yes. Yep. Okay, so I've been working on this book since July 1st till now, which is July 28th, I think. And not every day, you see. Which would have probably been good. If I could have just done like 15 minutes a day, it would have probably done it better than 1,000 words. And so I think what I'll do is I'll just read what I have first. And you can either sit back and enjoy it, or sit back and not enjoy it, or just skip to where I talk about what I should have done to have written more than 1,000 words. Okay. Chapter 1. Arrival. There we go. Well, Leo, it's just absurd, laughed the man, barely able to get the words out through the disbelief robbing his lungs of air. Glancing up from the lazy strokes of his broomstick, the man behind the counter watched with wary amusement as the sound of the full-bodied man's hysteria was broken up by the pounding of the poor table under his hearty fist. He flinched with every hit, praying it wouldn't fall apart. Not that the inn needed so many tables to seat all of his customers, most of whom were already seated around the table for two anyway. Please, I don't see what you see, Leo pleaded, raising his arms to admit some sort of defeat. Come on, you don't have to make such a big deal of it. Struggling to regain his breath. You're right, was all the hysterical man could manage in response. He straightened himself up and put his arms to rest on the grateful table, his grin slowly coming back under his control. You understand, I must take my amusement where I can. Do not tell me you're always so miserable, Astor. From the moment the morning sunlight creeps over the roofs of this city, so enamored with my failure, it shines off your big stupid grin. Astor really was a curious man to look at, his dark and curly hair escaping the folds of bright blue cloth neatly arranged in his head. The hair on his upper lip was equally chaotic, reaching out far beyond the soft edges of his face. His brown, gentle eyes left most strangers' eyes to move over his round belly, sporting a tunic as red as his cheeks, adorned with patches of numerous ragtag materials and patterns. But it's a choice, don't you see? All or nothing. Each moment adds up in the end, my friend. Sure. Just tell me how I can save this damn thing. Assured of the table's integrity, the man behind the counter, now comfortably resting on his broomstick, gleefully called out, What makes you think there's anything worth saving, Leo? Oh, one is more than enough, thank you, Gabriel, he shot back. You wouldn't want to see what happened if I came over there and showed you how to use that broom of yours. Hey, alright, Gabriel surrendered, resuming his soulless sweeping. Turning back to face Astor, Leo sighed and massaged his forehead. Just one helpful thing is all I ask you say. Before Astor could even try, the trio were interrupted by a sharp cry, almost a squeal, from outside the inn. Leo stood up from his chair. Astor, Gabriel, it's my cousin Vincenzo from Corsica. Sweaty and panting, cousin Vincenzo stumbled into the inn, landing on the first chair in his path. Don't get me wrong, Leo. Thrilled to see you. Ecstatic even. Just give me a moment to recover, will you? The three men shared a look of shock and intrigue at the man's sudden arrival. Breaking out of his trance-like bewilderment, Leo called out to Gabriel. Fix him up something, would you, Gabe? Gabriel hurried out to the back room, leaving Astor the last to bring himself back to reality, his wild grin resurrected, and his eyes alight with questions, although none more than Leo, who was making his way through the maze of tables and chairs to Vincenzo. Oh, no, I could have come over. There was no need for you, Vincenzo tried. He stood to meet Leo and the two men embraced. Tell me how many years it has been, Leo beamed, standing back to look Vincenzo up and down. Bah, you tell me. Your brain is not so worn down as mine, Vincenzo replied. They made their way over to where Astor remained seated, and it was Vincenzo's turn to look up and down. My God, you've gotten worse, old friend. I can barely stand to look at you, Vincenzo remarked. I told you, Vinny, it wasn't a phase, chuckled Astor, straightening the multicolored chaperon on his head. Gabriel reappeared, taking a seat opposite to Astor and beside Vincenzo, placing a tar on the table. Look at this. I couldn't possibly afford, Vincenzo started. Not another word of it, wary traveler. Word gets around town that you don't take care of yourself, and 100 lonely old women will be chasing around the streets with all varieties of foodstuff. Yeah, you'd have to pay them not to feed you, Astor warned. Vincenzo relented, starting on the tar. Astor looked around at the four of them. How conspiratory they looked, huddled around a table for two. Gabriel and Leo both had their eyes fixed on Vincenzo, wanting answers to different questions. How is it? Gabriel got there first. Oh, delightful. I really am very grateful to you for your hospitality, Vincenzo got out through the cheese, herbs and pastry mashed together in his mouth. Noticing Leo's intense gaze, he looked as though he had been suddenly struck by a small bolt of lightning, straightening himself up on his chair and swallowing his mouthful as quickly as possible. Leo, yes, I am so sorry for the sudden surprise and the circumstances of our reunion. You're no trouble, I'm just happy to see you again. No, I don't mean so much my being here, but what brought me. What do you mean to say exactly? All traces of brightness left Vincenzo's face, taking the childlike excitement of the group with it, leaving only a sense of dread. Well, Leo, you should be dead. Well, that's it. Okay, so I spent far too long going over the first like 500 words of that. Just going over it too much. It was too fine, and I really just should have written more of the story, you see. And so I went over my calendar and I checked how much time I actually worked in because I'd written it all down, and it was 7.25 hours, so 7 hours and 15 minutes. 7 hours and 15 minutes in a month. So if I'd just done half an hour a day, I would have done a lot more than that. So that's a shame. One thing I did work out is that because when I started this, I didn't really have a length, which I should have done. I really should have had some kind of idea what length I wanted it to be. But what I did work out is that I could work the story around the album titles of ABBA. So the first chapter being Arrival, the second being Super Trooper, and the third being Voulez-Vous, etc. Because why not? I mean, I'm not taking it too seriously. I wanted to enjoy myself and have fun with it. And you know what? I did. I really loved writing this. But certainly I spent far too much time trying to... I don't even know what I was trying to do to the first 500 words. I should have left them alone. But yeah, I mean, I guess for one thing, I'm grateful for how much I did get done. Considering this month has been pretty good, I guess, but pretty busy. I have rearranged my room, which not going to show you because it's a bit messy. It's not awful, but if I want to get this video out in time, it's gonna have to wait till I don't know when. That's bad. I should work it out. Whatever. Rearranged my room. I've cleaned it after 8 years, more maybe, since I was a child. I've just stacked up all my drawers of just junk, and I've gotten rid of all of those. Well, all of those, yes. And that's fantastic. That feels great. I've got more space in my room now. I can actually walk in here and swing my arms around. That's great. What else? Oh, yes! So I've been keeping a journal for maybe since like halfway through this month or a little bit earlier. And that has 4,500 words compared to the 1,000 words that this is. So it's not like I haven't been doing anything. As well as that, also, I've actually been pretty good at practicing like my instruments every day. So that's cool. I just wish I could have committed to this better. And so what I think in future with these monthly things, I would just have to, every single day, at least 15 minutes. My goodness, I can manage that. Oh, and the other thing was lots in the holidays. You see, the 2 weeks of this month was a lot of going out to people's houses and having guests over, and so you know. But yeah, if I just said 15 minutes every day, I would have done better, and it actually included it in my routine. So I regret not doing that. But I'm happy with what I did write, in the sense that it was fun to write. Yeah. I guess the only other thing I should mention is that I'm really excited to continue this. I'm not just going to abandon it. I don't think. I'm really excited to continue this, especially now that I have more of a structure of what it's going to look like in terms of the chapters, as ridiculous or whatever as that is. It's just that I don't think I won't do it next month because I think I should leave it rest, maybe. Could be a bad decision, but I'm excited to keep writing it, but it won't be for next month's project. We'll be doing something else. So, yeah, I think that's it.